Yay. So if there's an issue or you need to tell me something, you'll have to like send Daniel a message because I won't get it because I'm looking at my phone on Zoom, just so you know. He knows that I'm telling you that. Also, there are some parts I want to interact with y'all. So Carissa is going to have y'all muted. We'll wait a few seconds to let more people join on, but I want y'all to interact with me on this. So whenever I ask you something, feel free to unmute. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see a lot of the chat since I'm on my phone. That's just the way technology goes sometimes. But if you see some other good things, I might not be able to see it and read it. So y'all feel free to unmute and kind of communicate to me like that. Okay. 8:33, we'll wait 2 more minutes. Y'all make sure you have pen and paper out. We're going to do a little activity. A little activity. 2 activities, kind of, sort of, maybe. And y'all can go ahead and be thinking of this. You'll know on page 53. On page 53, she talks about how when she goes into a rumble with people, that everybody kind of does permission slips for what they're going to get out of the rumble. Now, if I could be doing this in your living room with you, like that would be ideal, right? But this is the best form of communication we can do. So we're gonna kind of rumble here at the beginning a little bit. Y'all can read the book. So for us leaders to come on here and just reread the book, I feel like wouldn't be giving you or us the greatest benefit. And so there are a few points that I will be talking about, and I will kind of try and give you a page reference so you'll kind of understand where it's tying together. But until then, can y'all, I guess they can all see me. Okay, so permission slips. Let's talk about it. That's on page 53 if you're wondering. So what are you going to do for the next hour, 45 minutes? Let's write down what you're going to give yourself permission to get out of this call. And ideas they had on there were listen with passion. Take time before I share my point of view. I'm going to take time to think about it before I share my point of view. That would be something I would have to give myself permission to do because I'm someone who never has a problem sharing my point of view. But sometimes I need to give myself permission to stop and think before I share my point of view. Or you might need permission to speak up. This is a safe space. I guarantee there is someone on this call that can 100% in some way, some form relate to you. And if not, then there's 100% someone who is willing to be vulnerable with you and sit with you where you're at. Okay? Here's another good one. Be present. Give yourself permission to be present, whatever that is. It might look something. I just want to throw out ideas for you. So let's all write a permission slip for ourselves, okay? That's a great way for us to know where we're at, like where our headspace is at the moment. Okay, the next thing is, because I want to make sure I do this thing whenever I'm with kids, I'm going to kind of teach it to y'all right now. It's going to seem silly, but it might help you a little bit, okay? So when I work with kids, sometimes whenever I was the director at a child development center, a lot of times when I saw them, it's because they were being naughty or they're out of control or upset. And sometimes we need to sometimes we need to make sure y'all are muted. we need to think of our happy place, okay? I love flowers. So in one finger, y'all have to do this if you don't want to, but it might come handy if you're ever around kids. But it's going to prove a point. You'll see what I'm saying. I love flowers. So I'm going to imagine this is a flower and breathe in that flower. All right. Now, something else that's super popular at my house among children is birthdays. Who loves birthdays? I know my 4-year-old, that is literally all he ever talks about. And so in this hand, we're going to pretend it's blowing out our birthday candle. And what happens after that? We get to eat cake and open presents, right? So we're going to smell the flowers and blow out the birthday candle. Now, when you're doing this with children, we want to try and take their focus to the positive. So that's what we're doing. We're going to smell flowers and blow out our birthday candle. And what does that do? It's an exercise to think positive. It's forward thinking and it's deep breathing. Guys, I am 35, almost 36 years old, and I still need to deep breathe, think positive, and think forward thinking, okay? So let's get in that mind space. Think of what you are grateful for in this moment. Okay. All right. Hopefully everybody's caught on. We've written ourselves permission slips. We are in a positive headspace. Now, I asked you to listen to a podcast. All right? Who are you becoming? Now, how is that relevant? You're like, how did this tie in with these two sections that we've read? So here's what I want you to think of. I didn't say, who are you? And she talked about that. We're not talking about who are you. It says several people are having trouble getting in. Do you see that message? I don't know how to fix that. Okay, I'm going to keep going and people can watch the recording later and catch up just so we have a nice flow, okay? So who are you becoming is not who you are now. That is daring leadership versus that armored leadership. Armored leadership, I don't know about you. I'm kind of doing this in reverse. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later, chapter 3 versus the chapter 2. We'll talk about at the end, okay? But I connected with so many things in the armored leadership. It was eye-opening for me, all right? Now, the idea behind that podcast was for you to recognize where your thinking has been in the past and where we can go in the future. All right, so, and this is something I would love for you to write down. You can say, my circumstances do not determine my future or who I am as a leader. Okay? My circumstances do not determine my future or who I am as a leader. Amen. Thank goodness. All right? So, here is our next activity. Do we have any word, Carissa? Do I need to?
Yeah, I just figured out. Jessica had to, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Jessica had to upgrade her account to get a 500 limit instead of 100. And so the upgraded account requires me to admit all out of the waiting room every time people add to the waiting room. Like I've been having to continuously hit all. I didn't know I had to do that beyond the beginning of the call, but I'm doing it now. So
okay, perfect.
So there are people jumping. There's 60 people, but there are people jumping on who haven't been able to get in. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. That's no problem. If y'all are just jumping on, you can go back to the beginning. We just we wrote some permission slips. And we we got ourselves in a good headspace. Okay. So this is the activity that is super important to me. It is something that I personally do on a monthly basis, if not weekly basis. Okay. I've actually done it enough now where it's become a habit. Thank goodness. But it is still something I have to be disciplined in and make myself do. And if you can adopt this, it will be world changing, I think. Okay. So let's make a list. And this is what the list is going to be. Y'all are going to have to use your imagination. It's that front part of your brain, frontal cortex. Okay, it's powerful. But I want you to imagine your future self. Okay, now all the negative Nancys need to stop for a second. I'm wanting you to imagine your best future self. Now, since this is a leadership Zoom, definitely pull in some of the aspects of being a leader. What kind of leader do you, I hate to use the word want to be, what kind of leader are you going to be 1 year from now at your ideal self? Now, I'm not saying like, what do you think you can accomplish? Like, I'm talking you're diamond, you're going towards double diamond, you're leading a massive team. Where are you at? So this is what I want you to think about. So you're going to start writing, and I want you to start typing and unmuting yourself and talking to me, telling me some stuff so we can dig deeper into this. So this is the criteria. And you might even was easy for me to just think diamond. I'm goal oriented. I'm rank oriented. Like I think rank. And so I'm like, okay, diamond. When I'm a diamond, how am I going to feel? When that alarm goes off in the morning and I get up, what am I going to feel? What are you going to feel? What are you going to do? And how are you going to think? Do, feel, think. Start typing. What are you going to do, feel, think? Okay. I'll throw out one. I would say I'm going to feel confident. Somebody else give me something. Type something in. Or unmute yourself. Creative. Love it. I will feel creative. I will feel courageous. What are you going to do? I will feel inspired. Yes. What are you going to do? Tell me some stuff you're going to do. Oh, organized. You're going to be organized. You're inspirational. I can only see one little thing at a time. They go fast. So feel free to unmute yourself and get rid of your armor. Amen to that. Feel brave. Lead out front. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Be consistent, and my team will know exactly what I expect. I love that. Okay, this is you as a diamond, guys. This isn't you right now. This is your future self. You will believe in yourself. Yes. You will lead with determination, knock down the walls you have put up. Yes, okay. Passion, and then you'll inspire others. Lead with confidence, no fear. You will feel capable of leading. Yeah, you will. You're diamond. You will feel capable. Okay. Keep all those things coming. You will be vulnerable. You will allow leaders room to be vulnerable. Yes. Okay. You will do scary things every day. Love it. You won't procrastinate. Oh, that's going to be part of the homework. That word procrastination. Good. Okay. All of those things that you will feel, that you will do, and that you will think. Okay. All of those things at Diamond. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about the other people on here. You guys, you're not finished with this list. I want you to keep this list going. All right. I want you to keep it going. consistent, peaceful, positive. Okay, thank you. My team has actually done this activity a couple times before, so a lot of them might kind of know where I'm going with this a little bit, but I want you to write this down now. You will feel secure in who you are. That is huge. Yes. Do you get a little bit excited as you're thinking about your ideal self as I'm just going to say as a diamond? Some of your aspirations might not be to be diamond, but that's just the word I'm going to use. You will have worked through your fears. You will love leading. You will feel limitless. Okay, guys. Write this down. My current circumstance is a result/reality of my past thinking and my past actions. My current circumstance is a result/reality of my past thinking/actions. Guys, when you are coming at me with the things that you would be at your ideal self, you were not thinking about yesterday. You were not thinking in the past. You were thinking future, 1 year from now. If you could be at your ideal self 1 year from now, 365 days, you did not think in the past. All right? I'm just going to cap that off right there, and we're going to move back to it because I want it to like start stirring in your mind a little bit. Now, page 44, y'all are going to know this was one of my favorite pages. Chris Casey knew it. Clear is kind. I'm an 8. Clear is kind. All right, everybody say amen if you're an 8. Okay, but here's the reality. Clarity is important. As you're embarking on this journey of being a CEO of your business, you are a leader. You're doing a lot of things in your day to lead, and some of those might be your children, your family. I think it's important to talk about when I read this. I'm just going to read this first little part at the top. It says, in the earliest of days of building our company, I found myself sitting at a table with my team after they asked if we could meet for an hour. When I realized there was no agenda, I got that sinking what now feeling. Charles, our CFO, looked at me and said, "We need to rumble with you on a growing concern about how we're working together." Okay, so what did she do? She rumbled with the people that were closest with her in her business. Guys, sometimes that's your friends, and it's almost always going to be your family in this business. So one of the greatest things that Brooke Light taught me was something called a shareholders meeting. I want you to go back and I want you to look at those things, that ideal self. Guys, if your people don't have clarity on your ideal self, they're not in the game with you, helping you make that happen, right? They are for you. They are for you. It is time for you to have a shareholders meeting and have a lot of clarity on who it is that you envision yourself, the ideal person a year from now, because they've got to have buy-in. Clarity is so, so important. In fact, the entire month of December, my team is doing 100% clarity. That's all we're talking about in December, clarity. Why? Because January 1st is coming. And I want everybody set up for 100% success. And if you don't have clarity, it's not going to happen. So have a shareholders meeting. That means meet with your family, meet with your friends, meet with your team, have some vulnerable talks. Say, this is who I want to be. Who do you want to be? Let's make it happen together. All right. So clear is kind. All right. Now I'm kind of moving to page 46. All right. All right. When you wrote down how you would think, feel, and what you would do as your best self, you were not living in the past. All right. You were probably not thinking of the actions that you did in the past that didn't work out, or you definitely were not thinking what people thought of you. You were not thinking, when I wake up as a diamond, I am going to be worried about what people think of me. I bet that thought never crossed your mind. I bet the thought never crossed your mind, I'm going to try and figure out how to impress people. It wasn't about anybody else's opinion, but your own. All right. Okay. So that one time when she wanted her yard landscaped 2 hours before that party. Okay, that was fantastic, guys. I totally relate to that. I can totally relate to that. I can see myself saying, Daniel, go to Home Depot right now. I want flowers out, and him being like, no. And like, I totally related to that. And if you look at that, this is a great vulnerable moment that she's sharing with us, because now we can even know that Brene Brown was thinking about how other people thought of her. She even said, these flowers are evidence that we're awesome neighbors who have our shit together. That is what those flowers represented to her, okay? She wanted people to think they had it all together. Your actions based on what other people think. Guys, I have made the mistake of leading my team based on what they would think about my leadership. I thought, this person really has their junk together, and I really got to step it up, because if I don't do this, I'm worried what they're going to think of me. And that can be such a huge hindrance on us. So that's why that clarity of who you are and where you're going is so important, because it won't matter. It won't matter what other people think of you. Okay, so on that page 47, it's like down in the middle, there's those words that said, where her husband kind of laid out what he was going to, how their conversation was going to happen in the argument. And he continued, your must be nice comment is going to feel like blame and criticism. Must be nice. Okay, guys, for me, the words must be nice have been such a huge learning curve in my growth as a leader and as a person, as a parent, as a wife, whatever it may be. Anytime I personally, even in my head, say the words must be nice, it's such a huge red flag that goes up. It's something I automatically know I need to address. It must be nice. So I have been living in a tiny little rental with one bathroom, and I have a good friend, she's on here, Sarah Randolph, and we were moving her from this gigantic house to another really nice house, and I caught myself saying, man, it must be nice to have this much space. And I had to step back and self-examine and take a look. She's laughing, because it must be nice it's almost like, if you really start to examine it, it is a point of possible jealousy or judgment. And even like those loving, or those mirrors can come in where it's just a good red flag. So if you start saying to yourself, oh, here's one I know that you could do, well, it must be nice to get a business builder like that. Or it must be nice to be a size 2, tiny and cute, and be really good at taking pictures, because I could really market myself if I could do that. Well, it must be nice to have an upline that was a diamond that gave me all the incentive money that yours does. Okay, we can find ourselves in that trap, and it is not forward thinking. It is fear-based, and it's not where we want to be. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is boundaries. Aren't boundaries fun? All right. On page 48, I have this, besides the clearest kind, unclear is unkind, underlined again. It says, most of us avoid clarity because we tell ourselves that we're being kind, when what we're actually doing is being unkind and unfair. Feeding people half-truths or bullshit to make them feel better, which is almost always about making ourselves feel more comfortable, is unkind. This is truth, y'all, and it is hard for me. And if it is hard for me as an 8, I know it's gut-wrenching to some of you, and almost the thought of doing things is almost impossible. Okay. I honestly cannot imagine. I can't, and I'm an 8, guys. I live to tell people what I think and put them in their place. Okay. But for some people that is extremely difficult. But what I want you to get out of this, you've heard every single leader say it, you've heard Jessica Hefley say it, is it's because it's outside of your comfort zone. Your leadership growth happens outside of your comfort zone. If you're doing something as a leader and you know it's the right thing to do and it's uncomfortable, it's necessary, because you have to do the uncomfortable things in order to grow. It's just the way it works. That's where boundaries come in. It's challenging, yes. I have a thread. My team's called Pink is the New Black. I have a thread. It started out as a leader's thread. It has exploded. I have level 12s on it. Okay? I had to lay some boundaries down. Some hard, clear boundaries. It probably, to some people, sounded like I was being harsh or, exclusive. No more people in this group. I said it in a very clear way. And I laid some very clear boundaries for my group about my expectations of that tool. It's a fantastic tool. My team loves that as a tool for communication, for learning, for growing. But if I didn't set boundaries, it wouldn't have been a tool anymore. It would have become like annoying and a hindrance on people. It would have weighed people down. I had to set clear boundaries. As a leader, it was hard because I knew it would rub people the wrong way. I knew there were going to be some level 12s with their feelings hurt because that group is just for levels 1 through 7. I knew that was going to be hard, but as a leader, it's the call I had to make. Okay? Boundaries. Uncomfortable. Now my chat thread's in a much healthier place. All right? It's not always comfortable. Sometimes you got to do it. All right. All right. Page 50 and 51 is where I'm at now. Guys, y'all are going to hate me. I'm not really a Star Wars fan, so I don't know this story really well, but what I've learned from it, and I have read The Gift of Imperfection, so I have read this story several times, but Luke asks what's in the cave, and then Yoda says, only what you take with you. And so he takes his lightsaber. So he's preparing for battle, right? He's preparing for the need of a weapon. So he's going to the past and he's planning, predicting, and expecting the worst. How many times do we do that in life? How many times do we say, I'm planning for the worst. These are all the horrible things that could happen in my future. And that's where you go. And that's where your mindset stays. As a leader, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. You're leading your team. If you're always referencing the past and planning for the worst, that is not forward thinking. It does not line up with what you wrote on the paper as your future self. All right. It's fear-based. If you go over to page 51, she realizes that her timelines were so off because she was feeling fear, scarcity, anxiety. They're not doing enough. Someone else is going to think of this idea before we get it done. Look at what everyone else is doing. In addition to the daily work we do together, I'm often holding visions of longer term university commitments, publishing contracts. She did not have a shareholders meeting with the vulnerable fears that she had. And because she would have done that, her team would have known where she's coming from. They could have helped alleviate a lot of that because she would have shared a very clear picture. I want to do things before other people. All the things could have been prevented if she would have had a vulnerable shareholders meeting. That kind of goes back to what I talked to at the beginning. All right. So fear, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. The cave you fear to, that's just like going outside of your comfort zone. So let's talk about what those things look like for y'all. Tell me some things that you're scared of. For me, it was posting when I first started. I was terrified of posting. Guess where posting got me? Really far. Posting on Facebook got me really far in this business. It was the one thing I was terrified to do. And guys, it's the one thing that helped get me a great big fat paycheck that I was after. All right. Lives. You know why lives are scary? Because because it's real. It's real time. There's no photo editing or filter unless you do one of those crazy things. Failing. Yeah, failing. So think back when we did everything and you imagined yourself as a diamond. 1 year, your best self, diamond. How does a diamond feel about failing? How does your diamond self feel about failing? You'll tell me. How does your diamond self feel about failing? I can tell you how my diamond self feels about it. Lesson learned. You don't accept it. Oh, you don't accept it. Like, I'm not accepting failure. Get right back up. Go to it. Okay, I love it. Okay. Face your fears to find the power and wisdom to serve others. Page 58. This is why Plexus is different. Guys, y'all know I started this business because I needed to make income. All right. Took the products for my health. I started the business. I needed cash money in my pocket to buy groceries. My hard work was in service to my family. Okay. My hard work and passion and drive was in service to my family. I'm 100% convinced that is how I made Emerald in a year. Okay. My passion and drive now, I got plenty of groceries, y'all. I got more groceries than I need, okay? My passion and drive now is in service to others because there is a mother out there who cannot feed her children. And I want her on my team, okay? You have to be passionate. So take a minute. Think about who it is that you're out to serve. Think about your diamond self. Think about your best self 1 year from now. Who are the people you have inspired, impacted, and served along that journey? Write it down. Who is it? Who are you reaching out to? Okay? This is why Plexus is different. I don't want to knock any other network marketing companies, but y'all, I don't know how many people trying to sell me lipstick are having these conversations. You picked the right company because you're about to change thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives. Your future self that you imagine, I know, is doing that. Think about those people as you wake up who you would be reaching out to. Okay, all of this goes back to, really on page 62, I skipped over some stuff. All right, page 62. As leaders, I certainly believe we all want to do the right thing, but we don't always have the bandwidth or experience to take care of someone the way they need to be taken care of. When I joined Plexus, I was a hot, judgmental mess. And you know what? I went to therapy. Jessica was very adamant about the importance of therapy. And so I want to encourage you. I don't know how many leaders are going to plug it, but I just really feel like you need to know therapy is extremely, extremely important. Your self-development is extremely important. We want to go back to John Maxwell. I know this isn't a John Maxwell leadership study, but your leadership cap is capped off at where you stop trying to grow and develop. So therapy is so necessary. Okay, so okay, I'm telling myself that page 67, read bold. It says read bold. Okay, leaders must either invest a reasonable amount of time attending to fears and feelings, or squander an unreasonable amount of time trying to manage ineffective and unproductive behavior. Yikes. Does anybody else do that? Can anybody else look back on their life and realize that where they were just literally managing chaos because they did not get the help they need? If you don't have if right now you're like, I don't feel like a leader, I don't think I'm a leader, then guess what? Think about your future self. What is your future self doing at the moment? And it will tell you exactly what you need to be doing right now. That's what we're about to talk about. Okay, guys, that list that you made, I wish I could pull up the comments, but I don't know if I can. Oh, there's the chat. Okay. It's going to let me scroll back. Can y'all see my face right now? I don't know if anybody can. I can't see y'all's face, so. Okay, I'm going to read back some of this stuff. All right, this was you and your future self. But right now, what I want you to think about is the reality is right now, if 1 year from now you want to be a diamond, if you want to be your best self leader, you have to be, and I'm going to read some of these off to you, creative, courageous, feel inspired, organized, feel peace and joy. Okay. Right now, you have to feel peace and joy. Right now, you have to be organized. Right now, you have to be inspired. Right now, you have to be courageous. Right now, you have to be creative. Right now, you have to feel brave, and lead out front. Right now, you have to be consistent. Your team has to know exactly what to expect from you daily. You have to believe in yourself. You have to lead with determination. You have to knock down the walls you've put up. Okay, I could go on and on and on. Does that make sense? I don't know if y'all could see me just then. Could y'all see me? My face? Okay, sorry. I could read that whole list. You have to be that now. The list that you wrote down of your ideal self, guys, this works for everything. This works for everything. You think about I did this with a group of people. We want to be fit, healthy, physically fit. So we wrote down our ideal physical fitness, what we would do, what we would think, and how we would feel. Do that. 1 year from now, if you want to be in your best shape, feeling your best, all of the things you write down, you have to do now. Do y'all get the point of the exercise? All of those things are things we do now. I know if you do them now, 1 year from now, you will be feeling and mirroring your best self. Okay. Next page. Okay. I could talk about shame and perfection a lot, but I'm not going to dive into that too much. We're going to wrap it up here pretty quick. Yeah, I even put on my paper in the notes, I put, but we are out of time. Ha ha ha. Shame and perfection. Oh, shame and perfection. No, but really, that plays a huge role, okay, in everything. And we don't have time to dive in, because I felt like the activity of getting your mind forward thinking is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. I hope that you see that. I want to kind of give you some homework here. First of all, I really want you to take the time, and you putting pen to paper is important. And that comes from somebody who is severely dyslexic and has a problem with pen to paper. But pen to paper is important. It does something in the mind. I want you to put pen to paper, and I really do want you to map out your best self. I'm talking dive deep, where you want to be financially, where you want to be physically. Guys, this changed my finances. It changed. There's a reason. There's a reason why this is so important, because guess what? If you in the future, you're like, well, I want to have great savings. I want to have a great retirement plan planned, or whatever it may be, future thinking. Guess what? You got to start doing that stuff now. If you want to be physically fit, lost weight, I want that cut in my arm, you know, people that have that cut in their arm, they don't sit around in bed doing nothing all day. All right. You have to be forward thinking. I know that's really silly, but that's just how my mind works. All right. Take a look at that. It's that page 76 and 77. It's that armored leadership and daring leadership. Guys, that's a great guide for you to look and say, where am I at now, and where do I need to be focused on? That daring leadership is a great tool for you to say, this is my ideal self. This is where I'm going. And I'm going to put it into practice today, because 1 year from now, I will have mastered, I will have grown. Okay. So, homework. Write out that list. Make a master list of your future self. Do not limit yourself. When people tend to do this, they tend to try and their mind will switch back and say, well, they'll think back to like reality. Like, well, I've only recruited 3 people so far. So maybe I should plan like what my future Ruby self is. Stop. That's not the way this works. Your best future self. My best future self, y'all, I'll just throw it out there. I'm making 6 figures a month. I'm not playing around. Mama's making 6 figures a month. That is my best future self. The impact, the lives that I can change with 6 figures a month totally transforms how I wake up in the day, how I do my day. Because I know if mama really wants 6 figures a month, then my day-to-day practice, my mindset, my thoughts are all future forward. I cannot think about past. It does not help me. It does not help your teams for you personally to be stuck back there. Okay, so get your list out. On top of that list, this has been a great practice for me. Pick 3 somethings, okay? 3 somethings you know your future self would not do and give it up. Guys, my future self, I'm going to give you some examples of me, and y'all go ahead and type in some examples of yourself. And you don't, here's one thing I got to say about this first. You can't go in 99%. This is not a 99% thing. This is a 100% thing. 99% you will fail, 100% you won't. Think about the people that are, and I can't relate to this very well, but that are vegan. They don't eat meat. Do you ever think that it's a temptation for them to go to a restaurant and order a burger? It's not. They're vegan. They're in it 100%. Okay, doubt yourself. Oh, that's a good one. Doubting yourself, that's good. Okay, for me, I had to go a little more tangible than doubt myself. I'm not there yet. I had to go a little more tangible. So something that my future self doesn't do to be in the physical shape that I want to be, I don't snack after 8 o'clock. I was calculating on my calories, and y'all know what I figured out? I was snacking and eating almost the same amount of calories after 8 as I had the entire time before that. Guys, when I quit snacking after 8 o'clock, I've already lost 4 pounds because I quit snacking after 8 o'clock. My future self that wants that cut in her arm, she would snack after 8 o'clock. Something else that a person who makes 6 figures a month doesn't do is just solely rely on other people's material. I have to personally be in tune to my team and what my team needs and produce training and the things that my team needs. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I love collaborating and sharing. That's how this whole actually leadership study came about. But I cannot rely on that. I have to be forward thinking, okay? So think of 3 things you know you can give up. One, I'll tell you another thing that I gave up was working in bed. Guys, I was spending a lot of time waking up and just sitting on my cell phone in bed, working from bed. Well, guess what happens? Then nighttime comes, I'm still in bed. Like, that's not what my future best self would do. My future best self would get out of the stinking house and meet people. That's networking. That's what's best for my business, okay? I want you to pick 3 somethings your future self would not do and give them up. Things that your future self would do, things your future self would not do, okay? Now, I'm also going to post another podcast that I'm going to highly recommend that you listen to. You don't, get distracted. That's a good one. Okay. I'm going to post a podcast about procrastination. It's a very good one. I think it's a little shorter than the last one that I sent you. Okay. So that's part of your homework. And then this is going to be really silly. I ride on the Peloton bike, and there's this one spin instructor, and he always says, "Girl, get your life together." Get your life together. Yes, my future self. Did you say something about pants? I missed that. Wearing pants? That is so true, y'all. If you're not putting on a real pair of pants every day, you need to get your butt out of bed and put on a real pair of pants. Okay? Diamonds? I'm sure diamonds will occasionally not wear pants, but they're putting on pants a lot, y'all. You need to put on real pants. Okay. I have one here. Get your life together. Now that's going to sound crazy, but here's the thing. Statistics say that people can usually only juggle 3 heavy things in life. And then we always have like those other small little things we're juggling, right? Okay. Like your job could be a heavy thing. If you are going through a divorce, that's real heavy. If you are dealing with an aging parent who you're taking care of in unhealth, that's heavy. We really can only juggle 3 heavy things. Then we have other minor things, right? And they're all in there. So we're juggling all of them. Sometimes some things get so heavy, other things have to drop. Things that you don't need to be compromising on dropping are taking your Plexus products, recruiting and growing your team, and being all those things that you listed today that is your future best self, okay? Those shouldn't be a compromise. So you need to make sure you have found a place to juggle in all your chaos. So when I say get your life together, counseling is a big thing, talking to friends, but I want you to pick one thing, one area that you could get together and just feel good about. And it's not going to be what you think, okay? For me, sometimes that means I need to stink and clean my car. Do you ever get in your car and you just feel a little overwhelmed because it's just dirty? Your kids have crunched up goldfish and there's a juice box that's on the floor and whatever it may be. Think about the mindset and change and something different that could be your trash mobile. Yeah. Whenever you would enter your car and it was clean, it was a set space. It's like, I got my life together. Or maybe there's like a shelf or a mirror or a picture or something that you had laying on the ground and you keep meaning to hang it and you haven't hung it up. Or for me, is my dresser. See, I don't know if you can see some of the stuff. Sometimes my dresser like kind of becomes the place where I pile it all. My best friend Beth Light, she's going to watch this recording. She's going to give me, I know it's her dining room table. She lays out everything on her dining room. I want you to get your life together. Pick one area where you can really get your life together and feel good about it. All right? That's my homework for you, okay? And this is the last thing I want you to write down, okay? My current circumstance is past thinking. 1 year from now will result in my current thinking. Okay, your current circumstances is past thinking. You are where you are today because of how you thought a year ago from now and everything in between. If you are not happy with it, chances are all that junk in the past wasn't very happy either. Okay? If you're feeling like you're doing good, it's probably because at some point in the past, you flipped a switch and you started thinking forward thinking. Okay? 1 year from now will result in your thinking now. All right. I hope somehow this has impacted how you think, how you lead. You have to do you right in order to lead right. And so that's kind of where my thought and vision came from this call. So that's all I've got. Y'all are free to go. I hope I stayed within. I did. Look, 9:26. I stayed in under an hour. I am amazing. I talk a lot, but y'all feel free to unmute yourself, ask questions. I really would appreciate feedback on this. I really feel like you need to know I prayed over this, and I pray that everything that you come up with, that radical changes happen. My husband had a prayer before the meeting over me that hopefully something would impact you, and I'm going to be praying for each and every one of you that we can make big changes, because if every single person that watched this call is able to forward think and become our best selves a year from now, we could all be making 6 figures a month. All right. Bye, guys. No more questions. Nothing. Okay, we're good. Bye.